Hi, welcome to this presentation on Alaska's alternate assessment. My name is Kate Foster, and I'm an Education Specialist 2 in Special Education Programs here at the Department of Education and Early Development. Alaskan statutes lay out the requirements districts must follow when assessing students with disabilities. Each district shall administer Alaska's alternate assessment to eligible students each time it administers state assessments. The alternate assessment is selected by the commissioner. More information on this can be found in the department's participation guidelines for inclusion of Alaska students in state assessments. One of my roles in special education programs is to be Alaska's alternate assessment state coordinator. So reach out anytime you have questions. My number is 907-465-2824. My email is just kate.foster@alaska.gov. So remember when I said that the commissioner selects an alternate assessment for Alaska? The commissioner has selected the dynamic learning maps as the vendor for Alaska's alternate assessment. So we sometimes call this test the DLM. Eligibility for participation in the alternate assessment is determined annually by a student's individualized education program or IEP team. It's reviewed annually. It's section 6. This test is designed for students with the most significant cognitive disabilities, and it's when general assessments are not appropriate, even with accommodations. The DLM offers students a way to show what they can do in English language arts, math, and science. To let you know why it's also kind of known as the 1% test, it's because approximately 500 students a year qualify and take the alternate assessment, which is less than 1% of the testing population. The DLM Alternate Assessment System is provided for students in English language arts, math, and science. Students in grades 3 through 9 would take English language arts and math, and grades 5, 8, and 10 would take science. When a student qualifies for the alternate assessment, based on their IEP team and their decision, they would qualify for all 3 subjects, English language arts, math, and science. Not 1 or 2, but all 3. It is a computer-based assessment that's multiple choice, single select, matching, and sorting. The assessments are administered over a few short testlets, and each testlet is based on 3 to 9 questions. Upon the completion of a testlet, proficiency scores are generated. Each testlet can be administered to students over multiple sessions and without any time constraints. Students are able to start and stop as needed. It's designed entirely for the student's individual needs. Before even administering the test or a testlet, the teachers and test administrators would use IEP's accommodations to complete the first contact survey and the personal needs profile to make sure a good starting point is determined and a good starting testlet. The alternate assessment is based on alternate achievement standards, known as the essential elements, or the EEs. In the bottom left-hand corner of the slide are examples of the standard comparison. On the left, you will see the grade level standards, one for reading and one for math. And on the right, you will see the DLM essential elements, linking the standard. So you will see that they maintain a connection to the grade level academic content. They reduce the general education standard in depth, breadth, and complexity. They are very specific statements of knowledge and skills that drive the instruction and the IEP goals and objectives. Essential elements include only the academic content areas, English language arts, math, and science. So here's a general overview of how the alternate assessment cycle works in Alaska. So Alaska is known as a year-end state, which means that the DLM assessment is only given once, and it's at the end of the school year. So students would qualify, so the very top of the circle, the starting point would be that students qualify for the alternate assessment as determined by their IEP team. Remember, this is reviewed annually, and we're looking at students in grade 3 through 9 for English language arts and math, and in grades 5, 8, and 10 for science. After students qualify for the alternate assessment or are determined to be eligible, their IEP teams would write goals and objectives in the essential elements, that alternate achievement content standard that we just talked about, and progress would be tracked as if any other IEP goal. Students are enrolled in the DLM system, and they can work with their teachers on practice activities and familiarize themselves with the platform. Following that, they can use as much time as they want for those practice activities, and it's unlimited. The assessment window is typically the end of March through the beginning of May, and it varies. It's around 6 weeks long. Students can use as much time as they need within that assessment window, as long as they complete it within the assessment window. The results from the testlets then generate proficiency scores, and this information is used to help teachers and educators guide future instruction. Upon completion of testlets, students will get an individual student end of the year report, which is a performance profile. Here's an example of what one tends to look like. You will see that it provides an individual score report for students, and they break down skills to help guide future instruction. These score reports are used to communicate achievement within the grade level content areas, and they summarize the skills that students have mastered in the subject assessed. This generates a learning profile for each student, which maps skills, and it creates learning routes for new skills. Proficiency scores are then reported to the Department of Education. Alaska has a dedicated page on the Dynamic Learning Maps website, and there's lots of information within this page. There's links to access the different suites and portals within the system, mostly used for educators and test administrators on how to administer the test. There's training courses, professional development. You'll see lots of pages of resources available, little helplets and manuals and things to download to learn more. I hope you feel like you've learned a little bit about Alaska's alternate assessment, and further questions or resources or revisiting this information can be found on the Department of Education's dedicated website to the alternate assessment, or DLM's website, Alaska's. DLM also has a help desk. Their email and their phone number is listed there, and the hours you might notice are a little strange for Alaska. It's 4 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that is because Dynamic Learning Maps is coming out of the University of Kansas Central Time, so it's a little early for us. There is a live chat option to type in your questions and get feedback and answers. You can always call or email me, my contact information at the beginning of this presentation, and I'd be happy to help. I hope you get all your questions answered, and don't be afraid to reach out. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you're enjoying your day.